Blessings. This video is about Jesus makes wine. And I know what some of you, most of you out there are thinking that, oh yeah, Jesus made alcohol so everybody can just sit around and get drunk or sit at parties and get drunk. And it's far from that. I'm going to read some scriptures, then I'm explain the skill that Jesus had and that other prophets had gained by following the word of God. And we'll get into how Jesus made wine. So first, I want to go into the definition of wine. Wine is an alcoholic drink made from fermented grape juice, or it is entertaining someone by offering them a drink or a meal. Does not necessarily have to be alcohol beverages. It's just a drink and a meal offered for entertainment. So that is the definition of wine. Now we're going to go into John chapter 2 verses 1 through 11, and I'll read. It says, "And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there, and both Jesus was called and his disciples to the marriage. And when they wanted wine, the mother of Jesus saith unto him, They have no wine. Jesus said unto her, Woman, what have I to do with thee? My hour is not yet come. His mother saith unto the servants, Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And there were set there 6 water pots of stone. There was a stone. And I'll read that again. It was verse 6 says, and there were set there 6 water pots of stone, after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 fir skins apiece. So they had 6 water pots of stone. Now these aren't the stones that you would think are them gray stones that you find out on the side of the road. The stones that Jesus had to have had to been like clear quartz, rose quartz. It could have been whatever stone can be immersed into water without the stone being damaged. I know selenite can't be what Jesus had in his water pots, but there was some kind of onyx stone. There's lots and lots of stones. Maybe there was a mixture of stones, because it said that there were 6 water pots of stone. So each water pot, maybe there were different stones, so after the manner of the purifying of the Jews, containing 2 or 3 firkins apiece. Jesus said unto them, Fill the water pots with water. And they filled them up to the brim. Now the water pots had stones in them. And they filled them up to the brim. And he saith unto them, Draw out now, and bear unto the governor of the feast. So they drew the water and gave it to the governor of the feast, and they bare it. Now verse 9 says, When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water, he didn't taste wine, he tasted water. When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, that means that the water that Jesus gave for entertainment with a meal, not wine like alcoholic beverage, and knew not whence it was. But the servant which drew the water knew. The governor of the feast called the bridegroom, and saith unto him, Every man at the beginning doth set forth good wine, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse, but thou hast kept the good wine until now. The beginning of miracles did Jesus in Cana of Galilee, and manifested forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. So there was a miracle that took place. It wasn't just the water itself. Jesus made a miracle happen with water pot and stone. So somehow he activated the water and alchemized the water so that the water was tasteful and enjoyable, and they were well drunk from the water. But it was a kind of wine. It was a wine that was used for entertainment. So now we go into Matthew 14, verse 24 through 33. So let me turn to that. Matthew 14, 24 through 33. It says, But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boister, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, Of a truth, thou art the Son of God. So that was a miracle. Jesus knew how to water bend. He knew how to alchemize. He knew how to work with the elements earth, wind, fire, and water. He was a carpenter, so he knew how to work with the earth. He was a waterbender. You see him doing things with the water. He was an airbender. He knew how to do things with the air. He knew how to work with all the elements. Now, what is a waterbender? A waterbender is someone who can manipulate and control water in all its forms, including liquid, ice, and steam. Waterbending is a form of hydrokinesis, meaning to control water. Waterbenders can manipulate water in various ways, including creating powerful waves, ice sculptures, and even bending water from the air or plants. Now, how do we know that this is a miracle that Jesus adapted and performed? We can go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. It says, And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So God's Spirit was upon the face of the waters. Let me read that again. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Jesus was performing a miracle, and the miracle, he was showing you that God's face was upon the waters. And so he walked upon the waters. And his miracle of alchemizing the water with crystals, stones. It's not those gray stones that you find out on the side of the road, okay, you guys? It was real charged up crystals, charged up in water, that gave the water a liking of wine. We'll go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 9 and 10. It says, And God said, Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. God is telling you right there, he is a waterbender. He's an earthbender. He's a firebender. He's an airbender. God's telling you right in the beginning of Genesis the miracles that God performs. Jesus followed the word of God and is the son of God. So he was performing those miracles as well. Now let's go to Exodus 14, verse 15 through 16. Okay, and it says, And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel, that they go forward. But lift thou up thy rod, and stretch out thine hands over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. There again, Moses splits the sea, like God split the water and the land. Moses split the sea. Moses split the sea, like God is showing the Israelite that God is who He is. God says, "I am that I am." And that's what Moses was doing when Moses learned how to water bend. And I'll read the verses again. It says, And the Lord said unto Moses, Wherefore criest thou out to me? Speak unto the children of Israel, that they go forward. But lift thy up thy rod, and stretch out thy hand over the sea, and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. So yes, Jesus was a waterbender. He bended the elements, a firebender, airbender, earthbender. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and thanks for viewing.